Hello and welcome to Sportswomen Connect. My name is Regina, your host. Sportswomen Connect is a platform for girls and women to connect and share their sporting experiences in coaching, officiation, administration and management. We will be discussing key issues affecting women in sports with special emphasis on women in sports leadership. In the studio today, I am joined by Lisa. Hello Lisa and welcome.
Thank you, Regina. I'm happy to be here.
Wow, when did you jet in?
I've been here for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And now I'm ready to jet out.
Oh, that is, so I am in the nick of time. I'm just caught in the nick of time, so you don't leave Uganda without
at least
sharing your experiences, your Ugandan experiences. Did you taste the matoke?
Even today,
you had matoke?
Yes.
Wow, kaunga?
What is in the morning?
You know,
what do you call it?
Morning is kumacha.
I think something with sauce and matoke.
No, that's posho.
Katogo.
Posho is, oh, you mean katogo. Katogo is matoke.
Yes.
Yeah, katogo is matoke.
That's what I ate.
Ah, that's what you had for breakfast today?
Yes.
Oh, that means you've had an interesting take of Uganda. How was your trip to Kasese?
Yes, this is my first time to that part of the West.
Okay.
It was nice. Seeing the mountains, seeing the beauty of Uganda is always something that connects you to God and the beautiful things your country has. But of course your people brought amazing things from that part of the country. They have a passion for football. The girls, when they get a chance to push the boys to the side and try football, they're always so excited.
Okay.
And they never want to stop. So the problem was now leaving that place because they wanted to keep going.
Okay. So now that we've talked a little bit about your experience in Uganda, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself and also your role or your involvement in sports.
Okay. So I'm from the US. I live in Minnesota. Right now I'm a coach. I coach for a club in Minnesota and I coach from age 5 to age 18 boys and girls.
Interesting.
I'm also a fitness coach for that club. And in my state, I work as a coach instructor. And I work for my country's federation to raise up football coaches. I have my A license for coaching. I've coached men and women at the top levels.
Wow.
And I've even dipped in Ugandan football in 2012 and 2014. I was part of the staff for the women's football team here.
Okay.
So my work in Uganda started in 2008. I came and I was excited to learn about football in different parts of the world.
Okay.
I learned that football here is very masculine. They think it's for men. I went and I coached men even. So I found that even Ugandans will allow a woman into the game if they respect her and she can bring something.
Okay, on the table.
Right. But I thought there's a bunch of women and girls in Uganda that probably want this sport. So we came in 2010 with International Sport Connection.
Okay.
Dr. Jensom Lee brought the course with the US State Department. They funded it.
Okay.
So we brought a license for coaching for over 400 coaches, and this is where I met Majida Nantanda, the coach of the women's national team.
Superwoman.
Yes. And with her dream to change the experiences of girls and women in Uganda, we decided with the things I can bring from my knowledge outside of Uganda and from my university studies, we started to move around and created this program called Growing the Game for Girls.
Okay.
G3.
G3. Oh, I was going to ask whether it's 3G.
We just
Whichever.
said G3.
Okay, G3.
But you can switch. It's just something that we have put the label on. But what it really is this idea that we're going to be a network of friends
Yes.
working to create opportunities for girls and women in sports so that their lives can grow up, they can have more opportunities, more respect, they can have choices in their life and have knowledge to make those choices. So we do everything from trying to create opportunities for top women and former national players, advising, mentoring them, to creating spaces for these girls to start playing. And now recently, after about 8 years, I think I have even more projects I've been coming back to visit with.
Okay.
I do work full-time in the US, but Majida Nantanda and other coaches in Uganda are working hard for creating these opportunities while I'm away.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're a co-founder of G3.
Yes.
So you co-founded this with the national team coach of
Yes.
Uganda, Majida.
And she's a CAF coach instructor now.
She's now a CAF. Wow, that's
Yes,
amazing.
one of the few women in your continent.
Isn't she the first?
There have been courses for that, but I think from Uganda, yes.
From Uganda, she's the first.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing stuff.
A pioneer. Yes.
Pioneer, awesome.
Yes.
Now, going from that, what challenges along the way? Because of course it's never easy. So what challenges have you faced as coming from the US? Things are, I think, a lot easier than in Uganda. What challenges have you faced? Let's start there. What challenges have you faced?
I think the challenge is, the first one was getting ideas in people's head, changing the mentality that girls cannot do something. So one way, very simple, to overcome that is to show them.
Okay.
Be role models and bring role models in front of them. So a lot of our programs, we go in front, we're instructing,
Yes.
we're sharing this knowledge that people don't have. Then giving a space for talented girls to play, and that really easily changes people's mind when you put role models in front of them. So that was one of the biggest starting challenges. Our projects are based on grassroots.
Yes.
We want people to think, I can do this from my place. I can think of ways to
I don't need
share.
a big field. I don't
Yes.
need this.
Can even start with those banana fiber ball.
Yes, those are the ones I played with when I was
Yes.
growing up.
So the money, the resources are something I'm finding Ugandans can create out of mud.
True.
And so the things we do don't take a lot of that, but it takes a lot of passion and that idea that you believe that girls can do things and you can change.
Okay.
So it's really the mentality we've struggled to change. And then I think the hard part is when kids are invested in this, to make sure once they start developing their talent, that they have somewhere to go. Because I think not only in sports, but a lot of things I've learned about Uganda is sometimes you work on something and then you sit because you don't know where you're going next.
Yeah.
So I think right now, after about 6, 7, 8 years, our biggest challenge is now creating pathways.
Yes.
So these talents, these starting points that have been established,
Yes.
have somewhere to go.
To go, like academies or clubs,
Yes.
but where do you see that? Like, let's say in the next 3, you've said 5 to 7, okay, let's say 10 years. What is your goal? Like, what is your big vision for G3? What's the big vision?
I think the biggest vision is that girls have the opportunity to come into the sport.
Okay.
I think second, that the people who are leading have knowledge of the game,
Yeah.
have passion and understanding and empathy, understanding the experience of a girl
Yes.
in Uganda. And not just how a boy comes up through football, but how a girl can come through.
Yep.
In many countries around the world, a woman footballer is not going to be in the same category as a male footballer in terms of money, professionalism. But as women, we have sports that develop this really strong leadership.
Yes.
They develop our way to communicate and make decisions. And even we learn to fail.
Discipline,
Yes.
respect, integrity, all these are very core values that we get from sport, and that's why
Yes.
you and me are sitting here discussing,
Yes.
sport. So
those qualities are coming out. Now we have to make sure these girls are getting education.
yeah, and that's very key.
Education, then from there, they need to have this dream of football is lifting me and carrying me to things like parliament. It's bringing me to being a head teacher, bringing me to being leadership roles, where they can sustain themselves and all those things. So I think this pathway is not to create, of course we want the league in Uganda, the elite league, to be strong and have as many strong sponsorships as the male side. But really the reality is to put in these girls' heads and the fathers and the mothers' heads that my child is going to use sports to lift her to a position of leadership. I think
is it a bit to do with the mothers first or the fathers first? Because that is sometimes very, it's an interesting area when you're looking for increasing participation of girls in sport. So who is our target person? Is it the father or the mother?
Nah, it's the family.
It's
But I think you can speak to that more than me as a Ugandan. And as humans, each family I think is unique. And each family has a need for their child in different ways. So that is why I think G3 has been very powerful, because we use cross-cultural things. So we have Coach Majida Nantanda, we have Coach Daniel Chiwaneka, who coaches on the male side.
Yes.
All of these people, men, women, Americans, Ugandans, we bring our ideas together.
And we need to work together.
Yes.
Unity of purpose.
So those are things that help me understand and help our programs understand what is the best fit in each community and each family.
The reason I asked that is the fact that most times women who advocate for participation, increasing participation of the girl child in sport, say, no, these kids are stopped by their fathers from playing. But yes, you've answered it to say that no, it's not the fathers, it's not the mothers. It's the fact that every family appreciates the sport differently. Maybe the mother, like for example myself, I am the mother, so, and I'm sporty, so definitely I want my kids to play some sport. But if they don't, then I can't push them, I can't force them. I'll try as a mother, but sometimes I'm like, no, I'm not interested. I want to play maybe computer games or whatever. So anyway, going away from that, what has kept you inspired? Because given all the challenges, what has kept you motivated to this point to say, okay, we are still pushing forward?
You know, God gave me a passion.
Yes.
And I've gotten so many gifts through football that it's only fair that I try to give back. I'm surrounded by people who are sacrificing. You're sacrificing to see these things grow.
Yeah.
You know, any woman and man who are pushing for women and girls in sports, I can see they're sacrificing. So why not me also sacrifice for that common thing? I think, like yesterday, we just started this academy program focusing on girls from 8 to 13 years old, coaching them for development.
Okay.
And you look at those girls, and they are sweating, and they are running with no shoes, no boots. Nothing but passion. And I've been places in Uganda where kids don't eat that day, but they come
and play.
And
have fun.
They're laughing. They're joyful. They're sharing their talent. And at the end, they say, thank you, coach. And that is all the fuel.
That is like, yes.
But I think it's the people surrounding it that are sacrificing, and the kids that you can see they're growing and getting something from it. That fuels the passion.
And about the volunteers, what has been your experience with the Ugandan volunteers?
You know, you can write a lot of things about Ugandans and volunteering.
Yes.
But since I came, we talk about exchange. You know, volunteering is like you're thinking of you're just giving your time and not thinking about anything. I know in Uganda, sometimes you have to think about what you're getting and what you're giving. Well, usually it's what you're getting. So it's changing the mentality a little bit. We have our logo for G3 is a tree.
Okay.
We talk about you plant a seed, and the people that plant the seed have to do a lot of digging.
Yes.
And they have to wait and be patient. So this is that mentality of being generous, working hard without seeing anything.
Yes.
But with this idea that in the future it's going to grow big and the fruits will be very strong, and that's your legacy you're giving back. So volunteering is changing this idea that you're investing.
Yes. You're
time. Investing your time.
Your effort.
Even the resources you have. So if you're a school and you have a pitch,
yes,
we will come. You don't pay us, but we'll come. You're giving us the pitch.
Yeah.
We're giving you our knowledge.
You're giving us the pitch. You're availing the children to us to work with. So it's. I think it's win-win. It's both ways. It's in my opinion, it's both ways. Like if I'm giving you the resources, which is the children who need to play, and you're availing the pitch, all I have to come and just give you what I have, which is maybe my knowledge, my skills, my talent, my time, and that's it.
It's true. And the good thing about G3 is where our network is not just in Uganda. We have friends in US who come and they visit. So we have an exchange with a goalkeeping academy, specialty coaching. We have exchanges with first aid experts and physical and athletic trainers. They come and they do courses for us.
Okay.
And we also try to bring some Ugandans some education as well. So the more you grow your coaches, the more they can spread those seeds to everyone. So we really focus on creating good environments for the coaches and mentoring them and creating that mentality for them to give it out.
Wow. Earlier on you spoke to me about your experience with deaf children. Just share with us, like what is it like to work with that special group of children?
I think, about a year ago, this idea was planted in Majida and my head to reach this population in Uganda that we found some people are hiding in their homes, hiding away from society, deaf, physical disabilities, other disabilities. But, coming from US, I've seen that it doesn't stop a child.
They're all children.
Yes. So we thought, football is a powerful thing. It has brought girls out, and families are proud to see their girl playing now instead of beating her or something.
Yeah, true.
So we thought maybe if we try to push sports for these disabled, it will really sensitize the community and help them to accept, and families to say this is not a curse, but it's something we are proud of.
It's a blessing. Yeah.
So going to these schools, I was very surprised. Majida had gone and networked, and I think you also know some of those people.
Yes.
It was wonderful to see you there. You saw the competition and the energy.
Amazing. It was a good day.
But for me, I've gone to many countries. I've been in, I think, over 4 continents coaching. I always face a language barrier. So with deaf, it was just a language barrier. So they gave me a name, a sign name, and you learn some small signs.
Can you show us?
So my sign name is here.
Just this way?
Just the earring is up.
Like right there. Okay.
And then I think this is Samompira.
Samompira.
And somehow I learned like the colors. I think this is blue. I don't know. Now I'm losing it.
No, it's okay.
So
unless you learn something.
Yes, but they're very attentive. I think you've also been around kids like that. They immediately want to learn.
Rugby, yeah. Once with rugby, yes.
They learn. They're fertile. They want something from you, and they work together to get it. So they're not fighting. They're trying to solve their problems so they can experience sport.
The level of teamwork. How is their level of teamwork? Because they're not talking. They're not talking. They're just making signs.
Yes, but just think of a player who uses eye contact and can see the field is a better player than someone who's shouting. Give me the ball. So really, the only difference is they've just begun. So they surround the ball. They don't know the tactics.
Okay.
But we're going to try
with
to
more
train.
With more grooming, they will become better.
Yes, training the coaches and even encouraging any coach
Yeah.
just to visit a school like that.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing that came up talking to the teachers is now we've started. What's next? Because we want a pathway for them. So I've learned that maybe sometimes they're not encouraged to play with hearing.
Yes, with the normal,
Yes,
let's say
hearing.
normal children.
The problem is with deaf, it is not a physical disability or
No.
a mental disability where they have a broken leg, something like that. So the problem with excluding them is you're putting them in a box
Yeah.
and you're preventing them from really merging into society
Yes.
and sensitizing everyone. So one thing is to talk with people of ways we can maybe feature them before a hearing match so people can see deaf is okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Very common in US. You have some of the top teams have 1 or 2 deaf players.
Players, yeah.
And so giving them a way they can play or maybe get school fees or get something from football. And then also give them exposure so they
Yes.
can learn to communicate. And people who are hiring deaf people can see that they can also be very capable.
Yeah, I think there's only one supermarket I know in Kampala that hires mostly deaf people, and they're doing a fantastic job. So what you're saying is true, and I believe if they're empowered, they can do wonders. They do things every other person can do. It's just that they have one small impairment.
Yes.
Yeah. And as we go from here, before you take the flight and you're away from here, if there's anybody watching out there, a young girl, a young woman, inspirational words, what would you like them to take home from our conversation? What would be your message to inspire them to aspire to become sports leaders, maybe sports coaches, maybe sports officials? What would be your take-home message for them?
I think if we want change in this world, we have to think about the next generation. The work you do now is not something you're going to eat the fruits of.
That's very true.
But your energy, if it goes into planting a seed and taking care of that change you want to see in the world, for sure you will succeed. When you think of other people's first, your dreams and the things you want to change will come true. But oftentimes, if you just start with yourself, you start to blame people, you start to blame your situation instead of taking charge and doing what you can do.
Yes.
And lastly, it's working together, sharing what you have.
Yeah.
For me, it's sharing my knowledge. Because when I share my knowledge, it's not like money. Knowledge will grow once I share and teach. So we have to have this idea to share, to grow what we have, and you have to do it together. So those are my words.
Teamwork. Yes.
For G3, and I think for you, you're doing an amazing job.
Oh, come on.
And keep going.
Thank you.
Don't quit.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our show. Thank you for tuning in. From Sportswomen Connect team, till next time, goodbye.